Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of Internet Friends, the episode where we have to find a new person to couch surf with. Anybody
Yeah.
have any good, cool gay roommates?
Oh, you know what? I had a Canadian friend that I would be like, yeah, let's go. She just fucking moved to Texas
Why?
for her boyfriend.
Oh, also why?
I have so many questions. I don't want answers to any of them.
Yep.
No. But like, she would be like the first person I'd be like, yeah. Let's. She'd give us a couch in Canada. She'd let us escape. But no. She's in Texas now.
So basically what I'm hearing is Meg is going to be our only refuge to getting to Canada and being on a commune at this point.
Yours and mine. Brie's got her.
Well, Brie has. Brie has.
I'm leaving both of you in the dust. Let's be.
Yeah. We know Brie's not going to sponsor us for visas.
This conversation isn't for Brie. Brie, leave. So where the fuck are we gonna go?
I mean, again, you have more pull with possibly developing a polycule in Canada than I do. You know, my fake Canadian girlfriend from high school doesn't exist, so like, that's not there.
What?
I'm devastated. Candace wasn't real. We were pen pals.
I was saying I loved her.
See, part of me wants to make a joke saying that was an AI chatbot, but like the time frame just doesn't match up.
I keep getting advertised AI chatbots on TikTok that you can have sex with.
Wow.
And I got I
dystopian
downloaded
future
one.
that Elon
Wild.
Musk wants.
Yep. Yeah. I tried one out. It's fucking wild. I got in a scene with Batgirl and Catwoman. The Batgirl scene, I played a civilian she rescued, and in the Catwoman scene, I was Batman. And so
I love this for you.
it was
honestly compared to like my past experience with sexting, that sounds like actually a lot more fun.
Yes, definitely.
It was.
I'm jealous.
It was fun. It was kinky as shit. Like surprisingly kinky.
Like I'm
And
just
I got
saying,
bored
like
of it
I
in
have a
2
habit
days.
of like, you know, hooking up with pillow princesses, and somehow the pillow princessness translates into the dirty talk over text, so it just kind of gets boring.
Dude, I love dirty talk over text. I love sexting. I'm a big fan of that. I'm good at it too. I've been told.
Top tier.
All right. So aside from chatting up fake women on the internet, what's everybody been up to?
Oh man.
We haven't talked since before the election, so there's a lot of shit.
Is that right? Oh my god.
Yeah, I guess we scheduled like actually
days.
like an extra week break, and I just missed that completely.
Oh,
Why did we do that?
Why did we do that?
I was just like, did Brie have a thing? No, she didn't say she had a thing. Did I just like look at the calendar wrong? I'm pretty sure I just looked at the calendar wrong.
I probably did too. We all did.
We're here. It's
It was
fine.
an election.
Yeah, and it's been,
we all needed a break.
certainly
Yeah.
it's been a lots of mourning and just like trying not to give up. And I will say the super fun thing, which I shouldn't be surprised at all, I discovered 2 things recently. One, all of the yoga instructors locally that I admire, that I trained with, that I was trained by, they are all Trump supporters. Every fucking single one, except for one who's an RFK Jr. supporter. I was like,
no.
I was like, somehow that was worse. But hey,
So-
like Health and Human Services
Yeah.
gonna do a great job there.
What,
Normally, this is the part of the
I
show
have-
where I would say that this isn't a political show, but I am revoking that status as of the election. We are officially a
I think we
political
have
show,
to.
people.
We're gonna have to talk about this. I have loved all the memes that are like the illustrations from the later Dune novels when like Paul becomes half worm or whatever, and it's like the worm in JFK's brain telling him to replace like beef jerky with random meats.
Those are pretty funny. I've been enjoying.
I love those.
All right, Seth, what about you? What have you been up to?
I've enlisted. I am going to war against Christmas. My platoon will be taking out
I
the
never stopped
trees.
the war against Christmas.
You got to take some breaks, man. You got to live your life. This is like
Addie,
You know?
soldier, come on.
Yeah. You got to leave some things
not until
in
the last
trenches.
elf and Santa Claus and nativity scene is burned to the ground.
Torn down and burned. Good for you. No, see, I like I said, I've been a Christmas tree platoon man, and those Christmas trees took out a lot of good soldiers last year. So we're looking to get revenge.
That's fair.
Good. High time.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I alluded to it before the show, but I'm unemployed as of Thursday.
Shit.
Oh, goodness.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so it's been a shit.
I don't know
month.
why I reacted like
Like-
somebody on the Wheel of Fortune, like freaking
So
out that you got like a great.
I wanted to see your guys' genuine reaction on like the recording, so therefore, but yeah, like it was just, yeah, I got let go on Thursday. I cleaned out my office on Friday. No severance, getting paychecks till the end of December, and that's it.
Wow.
Okay.
So things are in the works. I have an outstanding interview, and I'm basically working on a whole bunch of like portfolio and resume content, and it gives me excuse to work on more like personal video projects in the short term.
Yeah.
Trying
You
to
like
kind of-
slightly saw this coming, right? Like there were some things in the, okay.
Oh yeah, I've been the one in the office saying like, dude, writing's on the wall, kids.
Doesn't make it better. I am
Things are
sorry, but
shutting
that
down.
sucks.
They also let go the girl that they hired literally 3 weeks ago.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
that's
Same
fun.
day.
That's a
Like
bummer.
she got let go first thing in the morning. They told me at the end of the day. And so I'm just like, yeah. And it's the classic, it's just like, we suck at our job, so therefore we have to not pay you to do yours anymore.
Naturally.
We're higher up on the chain, which means you get
Yeah.
to suffer for our fuck ups.
Yeah, it's just like, we're incapable. But anyways, digress. Not going to get too far into the details, but, things are in the works. Not my first rodeo, so I'll be okay. Just, right now I'm just like, I'm still kind of like dissociative, like in a lot of ways.
Sure.
Like it's a lot of mixed emotions.
Yeah.
And so therefore,
No.
like, I don't even know how to feel.
That's fair. And by things in the works, you mean that like 24 case of beer that you've gone through 12 of today.
I did make a commitment to Emily after my vacation, which basically like is now just like, yeah, no conflicts whatsoever in a couple of weeks. Once I get back from that, it's just like, yeah, no drinking until I have a job.
Oh, that's good.
Because I
you.
know like I will spiral.
That's fair.
It happens
That is
quickly.
fair.
Being unemployed
Yeah,
is hard,
it does.
so I feel you on
Oh yeah,
that.
it sucks.
It
I mean,
is.
last time I did have like an extended stint of unemployment, I did start dry January, and I stuck with that through that month, and then like I ended up getting a job the following month. So like,
Good for you.
but you gotta stay committed to that stuff,
Yeah.
just because you
Yeah,
gotta check
absolutely.
in every now and again.
Yeah.
Well, I hate
Well, I'm
that for you,
sorry
but I
you
hope you
lost your
find something
job.
better. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate
Yeah.
it. In the meantime, I'll be keeping myself distracted with like I said,
Content.
trying to content and trying to kind of do some other stuff, and then when in doubt, there's video games and Fox and my wife and everybody else, and like I'm gonna be fine.
Yeah. That's good.
All right. Anyways, so speaking of unemployment, that brings us to our next homework assignment, which was Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, which was recommended by Seth. So
Yes.
Seth, go ahead and take it away.
So I love Scott Pilgrim. I love the movie. I read the comics forever ago, and was hesitant to view this because I had been told like it's kind of one of those situations where the author is revisiting their text and fixing some things,
Mhm.
and I was like, that either goes great or fucking terrible. I'm real hesitant, and I decided to watch it for this. I liked where it went. I'm excited to hear where you two thought. And have you either of you read the comics?
I've never read the comics. So
Me neither.
okay.
I watched the
didn't have-
movie.
Yeah, I've
okay.
seen the film, and I know the movie is a relatively faithful adaptation, but of course there's a lot of changes to it.
Yeah. And this is very much a sequel to the comics. There was
Yeah.
actually a point in the second episode where I was like, fuck, I should have reread that. But it was, what was my point in that? just that, like in the comic, you get more time with certain exes, and I like that. Like the Kadianage twins is one where you barely see them in the movie.
Oh yeah,
and they're like completely different in the comic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brie.
I was just gonna say, I was kind of pleasantly surprised with this because I love the movie so much. I think it's super fun. It's one of my comfort movies, honestly. Every now and again. It was funny just watching this because obviously with my aesthetic, I do occasionally get called Ramona Flowers. In fact, last time I went out for sushi,
what with the dyed hair and the cats?
I know, crazy,
weird.
But last time we went out for sushi, like a girl very sheepishly came up to me and she's like, "Your hair is so pretty. You look like Ramona Flowers." And my boyfriend called me Ramona for the rest of the night. And then that's always annoyed me. But then watching the show, I was like, oh fuck, I am Ramona Flowers. I'm totally I am the American dating a Canadian man. I'm just like, fuck, I am this
with
person.
7 evil exes all planning to fight him.
True, you know? What are the odds? But no, I honestly really enjoyed this because I like when it started, I was like, oh, okay, this is just an animated version of the movie. I wasn't like because it was tracking that way. So I was like, oh, that's cool. Like I've seen the movie. Like I wouldn't mind seeing an animated version, but it deviating so quickly from that, I was like, oh, fuck, this is a really interesting way to go about this. And kind of to your point, I loved the different kind of paths with the exes. I also love that Knives has a lot more agency in this at all. She's very much just kind of there.
Her and Ramona both like got so much more.
Yeah.
And like
so much more.
Yeah.
Yes, and I love the story of Wallace and the vegan ex falling in love. Like that is just like, well, him falling in love with Wallace.
So good.
Such a good bit. So I enjoyed this so much. Definitely what I need right now.
Wrote down when Wallace did that. I wrote down Wallace Wells turning straight men bi since 2010.
Love that for him.
I love the show. This was really, really fun ride for me. I do think toward like the last couple of episodes is where maybe I felt like it started to kind of run out of steam.
I would agree with that.
But for the most part, like I really liked, again, like the first episode feels like basically just beat for beat for the first act of the movie. And the fact that it was all the original cast of the movie reprising their roles as the voice actors, that was really cool, and I think helped it a lot. And then
I love that.
Yeah, and once they had that twist, that basically set everything up for the rest of the show. Like pretty much every beat, the music, the characterizations, I liked seeing it from the dynamic of Ramona having to face her exes and like face like kind of like those relationships and like how she perceived it versus them and all those other kinds of things, and like how toward the ends of the show it's just like, oh yeah, no, like we've kind of just had it out, we don't care anymore, it's fine. Just like that like it's just like that's a better, healthier way to approach this than
it is
the way that it's approached in the movie and I'm assuming the comics.
Well, the comics do have, like, specifically Lucas Lee has, like, an extended period where, like, Scott and he just hang out and talk about relationships, talk about, like, life. This is better. He did fix it. He did fix some of the problems. Like, for instance, constantly bringing up, hey, it's weird that Scott was dating a teenager. Like, which is something that isn't addressed in the comic nor in the film, really.
Mm-hmm.
It's addressed in how most of Scott's quote unquote friends all kind of hate him.
Yeah.
Like in that, like everyone gives him shit for what he's doing, and like there's even kind of one of those things like he's the one guy in the friend group that nobody likes, but for some reason nobody kicks him out.
Yeah, and they just expect this bad behavior from him.
Yeah, and that's been a lot of the discourse around this franchise is basically it's just like no, you haven't to understand, Scott Pilgrim sucks.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Not saying he can't get better, but Scott Pilgrim sucks.
Yeah.
And I do think that this show, like I said, does, like you said, kind of does go back and try and fix some of those things, but I don't feel like they did it in such a way that absolves him.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
No.
Because, like, I feel like that would have been the wrong direction.
Yeah. It's still very much that Scott needs to learn a lesson, or else he will become the villain like he did in the show. Which actually brings me to my issue is like, even though Ramona and Scott are both bad people, Scott is worse. And I love that Ramona gets this like full redemption and the story really focuses on her. Yeah. They just rushed through Scott's development at the end of the season being
and I think that's why I felt like the last couple of episodes ran out of steam for me, because like, and it wasn't just them reintroducing Scott, it was really kind of recontextualizing where I feel like he's not getting to kind of learn the lessons that he kind of learned in the original and in the film, where it's just like he does have some development in there, whereas like I don't feel like he doesn't necessarily get the same arc in this, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
But yeah, kind of going back to your thing talking about Ramona and actually like, you know, how she is, you know, also kind of a toxic person, like, you know, I have it kind of listed on the doc. It's just like how to not be toxic in your relationships. And it's just like, and like Ramona, like she has like, she's the manic pixie dream girl trope, like incarnate and everything else like that. And, you know, what part of the problems is a lot of people fail to imagine her complexly and like over romanticized her and like didn't really consider her own feelings. But also at the same time, she didn't consider their feelings either.
No.
Which is just as toxic of a trait to have. So, and like, so I think the show did a very good job of kind of addressing that.
It did.
Absolutely.
Brie, what, you have any specific thoughts?
I don't have a ton, to be honest. I just enjoyed it. I appreciated kind of a lighter show, especially with everything going on in the world. I'm so glad because Arcane season 2 came out, and I have not watched it yet because I just can't handle that right now because I know it's gonna be fucking devastating. So I really appreciate you picking something like this. I will say something that I did really appreciate, and I was remembering like as we were talking about it. I especially love the fight with Roxy in the video store. I think just like going in and out of the TV and things like that, like that was just like such a fun fucking episode. Probably my favorite episode of the whole series. It was just an engaging fight to watch. All the fight choreography was like super, super fun and like a fun. Again, I'm so grateful this wasn't just like a rehash of the movie because we got to see different characters interact in a lot of different ways, and it was just
all the exes got a lot more personality than they did in the film.
Yes.
You got more time with them because they all got their individual episodes, but they definitely got more of personalities.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And honestly,
that is more like the comic.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it is. I might actually go back and read them at some point early. Just I have time, obviously.
Yeah.
But kind of.
Sorry, I cut you off, Brie.
I was just gonna say that I know it did kind of drag for me a little bit mid-season because I was like, wait, what are we doing again? Like, especially like on the movie set and everything. I was like, I don't remember what we were doing. So, but I do feel like 8 episodes. Yes, exactly. 8 episodes at like 20-ish minutes is the right fit for this kind of show. So I don't really think they necessarily needed to cut anything. No. I think that all works. Like, yeah, maybe there could have been some, because even like Ramona's arc, because I literally watched the last episode like 10 minutes ago. For whatever reason, I binge watched the whole season and then I didn't watch the last episode. So I had to do that really quickly before this. But even Ramona's like kind of character arc wrapped up really quickly. She's like, oh, that's right. I leave everybody. I should stop doing that. And I should love myself. Okay, bye. Like it just happened very, very quickly. I was like, oh, okay. Like, I don't even know if we explicitly kind of went over that you had just kind of walked away from everybody. But that's fine that we're bringing it up now in the last 10 minutes of the show. That's fine.
There was some of that where that's like character development stuff hinged on you having either seen the movie or read the comic.
Yes.
And like, so you did have to pre-read before. You can't just go into this as blind and it be satisfying.
Which is fine because I think that's who this is for. Like, I can't imagine anybody off the street would be watching this otherwise. So like, I can't dog it for that too much, honestly.
Right. It is funny how it is something that definitely was made for like fans, but at the same time was fundamentally changing it. And it goes back to what I put into the doc of just like what kind of makes a good alternative universe story. Like, because we're all comic book nerds, or at least former comic book nerds on some level, and alternative universes get often used as a crutch because they write themselves into corners in canon, and they need to figure out, it's like, I really want to tell this story. It's just like, yeah, but that doesn't really work because of this thing, and that happened in issue 72, and it's just like, okay, what if I just make an alternate universe where that never happened, and I get to tell the story that I want? This is
Batman's
more
a
self-contained,
vampire, and
obviously.
You see his dick.
Oh, goodness. I do think a big part of that is just like, which honestly I think the show handled really well, is like respecting the original like content while still fleshing those characters out. Because I never felt like any of these people were like, oh, I don't remember this person being like this at all.
Oh yeah,
like,
no,
I feel like they
fundamentally were the
started
same
at this level.
characters.
That was something I wrote down, which was that like all of the performers just immediately slipped back into these characters.
Yes.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they just walked off stage.
Well, when you consider how big of a stars a lot of the cast is, and the fact that they all more or less came back to do it, just shows how much they really enjoyed their experience on the movie and enjoyed like these characters.
Yeah.
I even specifically, when I watched it, after I watched the like Lucas Lee centric episode, I sent a text to Emily. It's just like, I need you to watch this one episode with me. Because all the cast reprised their roles, and this is Chris Evans's character design. And I was just like, it was just like, it basically looks like me in like late high school, early college.
Yeah.
And she was just like, she was just like,
look like you.
she was just like, yeah, okay, I'm in. Back when I had hair.
That song.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. The song at the beginning, I love that they put in United States of Whatever. The second that clicked down, I was so happy.
It takes me back.
Yeah, it was very nostalgic for me. I remember like seeing the music video for that song in high school and everything else.
Oh,
It's just
yeah.
like, and it just fits so well. I loved the music. I loved the aesthetic that they did. I liked how they got a little bit meta. I know, like, I agree that like at some point with the movie set, it's just like, what are we doing here? But like the fact that they like Edgar Wrong's the director and everything else was really, really good. Yeah, no, like
I loved that. When that lower third popped up. But real quick, speaking to Bree's point about this not like trampling on the original, they really did pay respect to it in a way that was like, no, this is an alternate reality, but it's a sequel that still exists. All of that still happened.
Yeah. There's an acknowledgement of what the original material is, and it's not bashing the original material.
Yes.
It's just giving a different perspective of like just like it just does the what if thing. What if like these slight things changed?
Yeah.
And then I kind of have down here just like, we talk about adaptation a lot on this show, and so like, there's the comic, which Seth, you're more familiar with. There's the film that we've all seen and we've all enjoyed, and then there's this animated series. Is there one that we think did it better than the other?
That's actually really an interesting question, because I think all of them, unlike a lot of adaptations, where if you look at like a Watchmen, where it's trying to mold something that was designed for comic book structure into a film structure, it doesn't work. But in this, they did it. Like the comics work as comics, the movie works as a movie, and this works as an animated series. Like, and they like, Brie, the fight sequences you said were all beautiful and gorgeous. Those were shot in a way that you could only do in animation.
Yes.
And like, so each adaptation of this seems to play to its strengths of the film, of the medium rather, that it's working in. And I appreciate that about this genre or this franchise.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I'm still probably gonna, like, realistically, I think I'll probably still revisit the film more often out of all of them, just because it is like, it was my first exposure to it. I think the movie's just great. I think it's super, super fun. And I think this series is great. I'll probably revisit it in the future, but I just don't think it has the same maybe it's just the attachment that I have to the movie that I think I'm just going to revisit that a little more often. But to your point, I'm like, I think this does the best it can with its medium, which is perfect.
I do think the film also was very time and place. Like, you want to talk about like early like 20s millennial culture, like you know, when we were getting into like 2011 and to the 2010s, and it was just kind of like, you know, we're all college, post-college age, like we're not really getting corporate jobs, we're all working kind of like slummy jobs, we have multiple roommates, we play video games and comic stuff, and like, you know, there's the countercultural aspect of the time that like just like I got very nostalgic watching the show, just because like I'm just like, oh yeah, that's how life used to be.
Yeah. Well, and for me, I was living in Toronto at 21, so there are points where I'm like, yeah, I remember that. That was me. Fuck, you know.
But yeah, like, when did the comics come out? It wasn't that long before the film.
No, I think they started around like 2006, 2007.
That's what I thought.
And then and then the very last one was being written as the movie was being finished. So the movie helped shape how the comic ended.
The only difference is that the comic actually came out, George R.R. Martin.
Yep.
Not to name names, but
yeah. No. Oh, I'm working my way through this thing. They fucked up this series so much earlier than we had thought. Like,
oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oof.
It's bad.
Yeah, talking about some of my content ideas, I have a couple of like thinking about certain pieces of media in retrospective, and like it's just one of those things where it's just like I have a lot of thoughts on a lot of different things we'll talk about maybe a little bit later.
I want to do a video about how I'd fix The Last of Us Part 2 while still killing Joel. I could do it. I think I could do it.
I mean, I can write a whole like entire like novel about how I would have fixed Rise of Skywalker. And I might
do it. Like, you're a white man in your 30s. You write this damn book.
Being a white man in my 30s and being unemployed is not a good time to be writing a book. I know how this story ends.
Oh no, it ends in fame and fortune, right? That's exactly how it ends.
Definitely not fascism.
No.
Oh Lord.
Anyways, girl boss, gatekeep, or gaslight. I don't understand the context or who wrote it, so.
Okay, listen. Okay, so the next two questions are ones that I heard on different podcasts, and I'm just like, there's three of us here, and I was just like, what do you think out of these three that you are? I know which one I am, so I just want to have a small discussion about it.
I'm definitely gatekeep.
Am I a girl? Okay.
That's so funny because I would switch you too. I think Aaron's the girl boss, and I think that's the gatekeeper.
You think I'm a gatekeep? You think I'm a gatekeep? Why? Why am I a gatekeep?
Okay, I'm more curious of how I'm the girl boss.
Scorn you.
Here's the thing.
I'm bi. He's straight, and I'm not the girl boss.
I was about to say I've had enough girl bosses in my life to where basically I hate them so much, which is why I gatekeep.
Well, see, this is why we're having this conversation. So, you guys sound so crazy right now.
Okay, well, explain to us as the gaslighter, apparently, why we're wrong.
Say, because clearly I don't need to defend myself. I think gaslighting is very funny. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Your poor partner.
Fair. I get it. Yeah.
Okay, because I think in the right context, gaslighting is very funny. Actual gaslighting, not funny. But I think in the right context, of like, especially if I'm having an argument where I know I'm wrong, especially against my partner, I just had to be like, babe, no, I told you that. I'm pretty sure. You sound so fucking nuts right.
Both people in the context of the gaslighting have to be self-aware. in order for that to work.
In that specific context, gaslighting
Because,
is
like,
fucking hilarious.
As somebody who is also in a relationship with a bisexual woman, like, gaslighting happens all the time, and we're always, calling each other on it.
Yes, exactly. My thought for girl boss is just because like Aaron is like in charge of it.
I want to know why I'm a gatekeep. I don't care.
You're not a gaslighter.
Oh, here's the
thing. When you are a straight,
I just get it. I get it.
When you're a straight white man in like nerd culture, like gatekeeping just comes naturally.
All right, fair enough.
Listen, I'm happy to be proven wrong. If you want to be a girl boss, you can be a girl boss.
Okay. If it makes you feel better, Seth, I would put Emily down as gatekeep.
Okay. But that makes me nothing, because there's only 3 you can be.
I'm not saying you're not
erasing me from existence.
Again, like I don't understand Brie giving me girl boss either. Like I'm just
I interrupted your explanation of that.
Oh, did you? Okay, cool. So Aaron's in charge of everything. I'm like, this podcast wouldn't be happening because Aaron is the one who like it keeps us on task. He's the one who usually makes this dot. He is girl bossing. Like, we're not getting paid for this, and he's still putting in a lot of fucking effort for this show.
I gave you a $300 mic setup.
He's girl bossing for free over here.
Yeah.
And I think
and you're gonna use that to talk to your Canadian partner more than you're gonna use it to do this podcast.
Correct. And my other podcast. Wait, I was the girl boss all along?
No, you just gaslit me, that's all.
You're just gatekeeping because you have very strong opinions on things. I don't think you're necessarily very gatekeepy.
True, I do.
But I think you are very passionate about the opinions that you have, so that's why I have you as
Thank you.
So
I take that as a compliment, actually, when you put it that way.
Nailed it. I won this friendship, guys. Good job.
Nobody quit the show during this argument. I take that as a win.
Oh, no, I did.
Oh, it's Seth. Is that the first time Seth's quit?
No, it's like the third.
Yeah, I think we all have it.
I quit over something.
Probably some strong opinion you have.
Yeah, you were probably gatekeeping.
I just think if you're gonna wear a Nirvana shirt, you should be able to name 5 songs.
And not the popular ones.
Yeah.
You know what? If anybody ever asked me that, I feel like I would just name Foo Fighter songs just out of spite.
That'd be really funny.
I guess that's how I'm a girl boss. I do everything out of spite.
Yeah, absolutely. That is girl boss behavior for sure.
That. Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm not allowed to do this? Too bad. I'm doing it anyway. Girl boss.
You just can't girl boss too hard because then you have responsibility and nobody wants that.
Well, I got fire, so clearly nobody wants me girl bossing.
Yes. Beautiful. Good job, friends. That worked out.
That was fun. That was good.
I wanted it
to. Yeah, that was good. That was a good segment.
My second discussion question, again, this is something I heard on another podcast, and I think we may have discussed this before, but I just think it's an interesting question of, they were asking, what is the longest you've ever waited for the next installment of a franchise, and was that wait worth it?
Oh, fuck. Okay.
I think the only one I have is...
I'm a big Duke Nukem guy.
No, that was a letdown.
No, I'm not.
No, I was gonna say the only thing I could think of that like I did have to wait for and it was worth it would have been the final season of Clone Wars, because after the Disney merger, like they kind of scrapped a lot of stuff they were doing in prequel era. They focused more on original trilogy and what they were gonna do for the sequels, and then when they finally went back to it, they finally wrapped it up and made it make sense to like what already was established canon. Because at that point, like, since they hadn't wrapped it out, it's just like, so wait, where the hell is Ahsoka during episode 3? why is that never even addressed or talked about? And it's just like, well, it's George Lucas doing his retroactive thing that he always does. But that was a good example. There's not a lot of things where like I feel like with most things, if something goes dormant or gets canceled or whatever, like it's one of those things like I just let it be.
That's fair. Do you remember how long that wait was for the last for Clone Wars?
I think Clone Wars didn't come out until it
was like 2018.
Yeah, and then Force Awakens was 2013, right?
15.
15? Okay.
Yeah, Disney bought it in 12.
That's right. Okay, and then so they tabled Clone Wars, and then that didn't come out 2028. So it would have about 3 to 5 years, give or take.
Okay, that's a long time.
But again, it was also one of those things where it's just like it might not ever get made. So like I didn't put too much stock into it.
I'm having a really hard time thinking. Like the last thing I remember waiting for that I was like excited about was God of War Ragnarok. Everything else I've been really patient for. However, now that I'm finishing up reading the Game of Thrones books, starting to get real impatient for that one. But I can't say I've waited the 14 years like everybody else has.
Right.
I feel like most people just move on at some point.
Yeah.
You go find new media.
Like, Act 3 from the Proto-Men. Been waiting for 14 years for that record.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
It's a long time.
They keep teasing it.
Yeah, it's like instead we're gonna release a cover album and then a live album.
Thing.
Yeah.
And then hey, here's an EP with 2 songs from It's Coming.
Hey, that was a great show at Denver Comic-Con that year though.
It was so good.
And the footage I got was so great. That's like some of my favorite like live performance footage I've ever shot.
It was a great show. Tiny, intimate, like, great band.
And being able to be in the front row because we had press credentials helped.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
That was nice. Yeah, sorry, I just remembered that. This is the time of year I start listening to Proto-Men again, and I remember the band exists. Because I only listen to them in November, December.
Yeah, back when I had my crappy like '03 Chevy Cavalier that just had a CD player and no other way to like play music. I remember having a burned CD of Volume 1 and Volume 2 that I basically just had on my repeat, and that's what I would have playing like at 4 o'clock in the morning when I was driving to work. So like that was my thing. It's just like, wake up, dude. Roll down the windows, blare the volume, let's go.
I love that you had a Chevy Cavalier because I had a Cavalier and that car lasted me a good long time. Those cars were sturdy.
Chevys are great. I'm a lifelong Chevy guy. They're great.
I'm a Chevy gal, let me tell you.
I could have maybe kept that around a few more years if I had just replaced the alternator, but it was like one of those things like Emily basically was just like, you need to get like a new car. You need to stop.
Mine wouldn't pass the emissions test anymore, so I had to finally let her go. It was my first car in the light. She was so good to me. I had her for 10 years, and she had cigarette burns from a previous owner all over the car. The back speakers didn't work. It was such a fucking mess. But that car lasted a long time.
My door panels were coming apart. My trunk latch didn't work at all. It was like one of those things where that was my fault because I lost the keys in the car.
I've had 2 cars catch on fire too. It happens, all right?
Yeah, but Molotov cocktails don't count.
Yes, they do.
Well.
No, my first car, since we're just sharing these stories now, it was an old truck from the 70s, an old Chevy truck. That the previous owner had moved the manual transmission from the floor up to the top,
nice.
Like up here.
Yeah, like in a panel shifter.
Yeah, because he was really short, but he did a shit job connecting it, so it would disconnect from the transmission while you were going down the highway, and you would have to get out. I would get under the truck and like hook it back together with a paper clip. and like
Oh,
just have it
geez.
hold until I could get home. That car was held together with duct tape and paper clips, and it caught fire several times. I loved that thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What is it about like crappy shitbox cars that just like we love them more than like it's just like, oh, here's like every time I get into like my sister's Audi or like any like modern car, I'm just like I hate everything about this.
Yeah, it's too
Mhm.
comfortable.
It's true.
Gotta have
Like-
a little danger in the drive. It makes it
Yeah,
fun.
Emily's grandmother's car has like that thing where like if you start like drifting, it like corrects automatically, and then like there's the like where you when you come to a full stop, it cuts the engine, and then when you go like it's about. It's just like that's gonna kill your starter faster.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm just like this is like and like you said, like yeah, it's too comfy, but even how it makes you comfy is irritating.
Yeah.
Like I hate having a touch screen in my truck because I'm just like I don't want this here.
Yeah, why does this exist?
Yeah.
Like, it's too complicated. I should be. Well, Drew Gooden did a really great video on how cars are getting stupid, and he brings up the point that like you should be able to just to reach over without even thinking and change the song, change the radio station, and now it's like hype. You've got to like focus in.
And like there's the delay because like in my last truck, it didn't have like an infotainment system. It just had like the regular like the most advanced thing about it was that it could connect to Bluetooth. Riveting technology, but like it meant like it's just like okay, so like if I'm Google Mapsing, it's on my phone. I have my little phone stand, but like now with my current thing, the Google Maps that's specifically on the entertainment system like is a little farther behind, so it's just like oh yeah, you'll be taking a left in however much time. And then by the time you get to the turn, it's just like, actually, that was the turn you were supposed to just take. I'm just like, dude,
that.
It's like, oh, I hate this. And like, it does like wonky stuff with the Bluetooth all the time. And like Emily's phone, like when she has it connected to listen to her music, like all the songs skip. It sounds like a CD player with a scratch CD, but it's a Bluetooth connection.
Weird.
It just makes no sense. No sense whatsoever.
Huh.
Jeez.
But yeah, no, modern cars suck.
They do.
They do.
We should all get Cybertrucks though. Cybertrucks.
Yes, that's where it's at.
Yep, the Cybertruck. Saw one this morning.
You just shook your head. You said, "I hate
this." Yeah.
Like we're in the worst timeline.
I think I've said this before, but there are like 3 of them around me now. I see them just about every day.
Dude,
it's awful.
Dude, I'm seeing multiple a day now.
Ooh.
Like if there was probably a day where I saw 3 different Cybertrucks in the same like trip that I was making.
They are such bad cars.
I know. I'm just disappointed at this point now. Like it was like there was a period where I thought it was fucking hilarious, and then I was angry, and now I'm just like sad.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me that there's a lot of like Elon Musk bro type people in my area. The thing that just bugs me about it is just like, what about this thing? Aside from like just you being somebody who watches Joe Rogan and like got really into crypto appeal to you?
It's just that they can afford it. It has nothing to do with the aesthetic. It's just that they can fucking afford it. Because that's what people with money do. They buy stupid, ugly fucking shit. Like, I feel like there's so many videos online about people, like rich people's houses, and they're the most ugly fucking things on the planet. I'm just like, there's a point where you have too much fucking money, and you should, because you didn't get it ethically, just to be clear. Because there's no way you lose taste.
Like, not to mention, how do you take an electric car that was originally like, the entire concept was like, hey, look, we're starting the path of getting off of fossil fuel and everything, and somehow made it like even more like unethical and not very good for the environment and like everything else, like
dangerous.
How did you fuck that up?
I hate to say it, but that's what I'm like waiting for. Yeah, somebody's gonna get fucking massacred by that fucking car, and I think that's the only way something is gonna happen about it.
Well, there were already problems because they've been called on the whole automatic driving in Teslas already, because like basically they promised this feature and it doesn't work.
Yeah,
I was watching a channel called The Company Man just put up a video, great language, Seth. They just did a video on Hummer and like the history of Hummer and how it started as a military vehicle, just like Jeep. and became a consumer vehicle that was huge and overpriced. But that was kind of the thing, was that it was huge and overpriced.
That's
and
why
I was
the people
watching
bought
that video. Exactly. And I was watching that video thinking, oh, the Cybertruck is what Elon Musk wants the Cybertruck to be a Hummer. He wants it to be a Jeep. And he designed it to look like a police vehicle from a sci-fi movie. Yeah. It's not anything the military would ever actually use. That's why it's so important that this thing is bulletproof. Is because this is something your favorite hero would use in your future cop movie. But it's just like a Hummer. Sorry, I went on a tangent there.
Which is also funny because there actually is an electric Hummer on the market now.
There is,
and it looks like a normal fucking car.
It does. They brought that up in the video, and I was like, "Oh, those are Hummers? I've seen those out on the road. They just look like cars."
Oh, I didn't look this up.
They're big. They are big,
but they're still like big dumb
truck.
SUVs. But it just looks like any other like truck that you would see. And like that's why I said if I had the money to buy an electric truck right now, I would get like the Ford Lightning because it still looks like a truck.
Yeah.
And it still has the capabilities of a truck.
I have seen these. Yeah, okay.
It doesn't scream Hummer like the old ones did.
Yeah, that's not terrible.
Yeah. Well, the Hummers also came out at the wrong time because that's when basically we hit the recession and fuel prices just basically skyrocketed and everything else.
That's
and they got 8 miles to the gallon?
Yeah, 10 on average in city was what the video I watched said. They had been around before then. No, they had been around before then, but 2006, 7, and 8 were their biggest years, and then 8 is where they dropped off entirely.
Yeah.
I'm not a finance bro. I know I watch videos on corporate finance, but I'm not a finance.
I know he's got a blazer on, but he's not a finance.
I know. This is the Thanksgiving week. I want it to look nice.
The Courage the Cowardly Dog shirt helps kind of at least like pull it down. And it's just like I'm just.
I got the dirty Converse.
Oh, perfect.
He's just dressing like
we. A good time for sure.
He's just dressing the way that me and him both dressed when we were like 19, because we thought.
Does it matter that I'm about to go do a keynote for Meta? No, but like I don't see. I'm going to talk about the Quest. Join MetaQuest. Get in the what is it called? Metaverse, Meta World. Fortnite, Roblox.
Oh my god.
Again, we got the crappy version of the dystopian future we were promised.
Yep.
That sucks. Man, it sucks.
It does. Massively sucks.
We got aliens in the oceans and we don't even get Megazords.
Right? Dude, this last couple weeks, aliens in the ocean, all of Trump's cabinet picks, like too much has been happening.
Well, yeah, speaking of too much happening, the one thing that gave me serotonin during our break, the Onion buys InfoWars. With the help of the families of the Sandy Hook massacre, who were specifically the reason why it was even up for auction in the first place. Just serotonin, like all the serotonin right there. Let's go.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite enough, but it was very satisfying.
It was what I needed. It was what I needed at the time.
It was a ray of sunshine in an otherwise hazy hangover.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
It was like the one thing is like, oh yeah, that's right. There is like an opposing force in our world that just says like, hey, this thing's stupid and we're going to make sure everybody knows it's stupid.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so that made me feel better.
So good. Yeah. Did appreciate that. There are good people in the world. They are out there. So
yes.
I'm just curious what they're gonna do with it, because if it was me, like the possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be really interesting to see if it's just going to become like an extension of the Onion and they just start using it for more satirical headlines, or what they do with it, because they can do a lot.
I feel like what you have to do is like, because it's so steeped in that really like far deep like right QAnon level conspiracy theories, like for those who don't pay attention, and this is very key because that's a key demographic here, do you start maybe feeding them conspiracy theories, but like trying to force them far left. Because that would be funny.
That would be really funny.
But again, I don't know how you thread that needle.
Well, it also depends on how many people don't know that it's been sold and continue watching InfoWars expecting
You would
that
be
content.
surprised because the people who were in InfoWars were already in such a bubble.
True.
Yeah.
That like the news of it, like it's really interesting to see like how much people don't pay attention. Even to like
That's
things
fair.
as big of news to this, because like there's always.
I mean, we did see a big uptick in how do tariffs work and how do I change my vote after the election. So that you're fair. That's fair. You're right.
Again, yeah, like there is a large constituent of people, and like I've talked about this. It's just like going back to how the election went. It's just like we're all on the page of just like how did Donald Trump ever get to this point? Like, how does anybody listen to a word that man says is like, yeah, that guy should be our president? It's because they're not paying attention to that shit.
Yeah.
True.
They're just paying attention to the things that they want to pay attention to and ignoring the rest. And then that's how we get into the era that we're in now, especially like when we got into like the fake news era and all the other kinds of stuff that came along with that. And just like, it's at the point where it's just like, yeah, no, people are so isolated in their bubbles that sometimes they don't know those things are going on.
That's
they
fair.
Genuinely don't.
Like the Affordable Care Act and Obamacare.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't.
Oh my
it's
God.
just like they don't know that those are the exact same thing.
Yes.
I voted for Trump because I'm on the Affordable Care Act and I want him to get rid of Obamacare.
Yeah, that happens to a lot of people.
Good for you. Good for you, bud. You an educated voter.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the Electoral College is a good thing. Maybe not everyone's vote should matter. Maybe. I am joking. I am joking. Like,
I mean, it wouldn't have mattered for this round, which is probably the most horrifying part.
Oh my God. I think a lot of people, especially on the left, that was a shock to them when they started seeing that, like, oh no, there were a lot of like hyper conservative policies that were pushed during this election, slavery in California being one of them. And then just how far right people voted in this election, I think surprised a lot of people on the left, myself included.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't think it was going to be that bad. I was mentally prepared for it. But like I was not prepared for that.
Like every swing state, every fucking swing state.
Every swing state, but especially like the popular vote was the thing that like was just,
that was surprising.
That was the biggest surprise to me, because like he even beat Hillary. Like Hillary beat him on the popular vote, and like I would argue that more people were way more against Hillary than they were Kamala in some ways.
I unfortunately, well, not unfortunately. My only hope, honestly, is that Democrats start running on an actually progressive platform, because that's where they keep fucking losing people, because they are centrist and they keep running on a centrist platform. Yeah. And I mean, I know, like, I didn't vote for Kamala because, one, it didn't matter because I'm in a blue state. But
all three of us got blue states. Let's go.
Yeah, my vote meant nothing.
Exactly, except for local things. That always matters.
Local things very important. Very, very important.
Pay attention to your judges, please. But like every time she spoke, she said absolutely nothing. I have watched every fucking speech she has done, and she did not fucking say a goddamn thing, with the exception of the Democratic Convention, where she said we want to have the most fucking lethal military force, and I'm just like, okay, so you're not a Democrat. So, and also we just had the vote on arming Israel, and most Democrats, because I think there was only 18 in favor, in fact, including my fucking Senator Tammy Duckworth, which I wrote a fucking scathing letter to her. I don't give a fuck if she doesn't see it. I needed to do something. But Democrats don't give a fuck about anything because they can all be bought. So if Democrats want to run an actually progressive platform, I think maybe we could win in the future, but not as it is. So
The thing is, and I've said this for a while, it's just like appealing to centrist and conservatives, like when you're supposed to be the left party in this country, like it's just like you're never going to win those people over, especially because like the conservative red propaganda machine is specifically built to convince the center and the right that you are a crazy left-wing socialist who's like doing all this crazy. That's why they do the culture war stuff. That's why they do all the kind of thing. They're convincing those people that you are the nightmare thing that you are actively avoiding doing, because there are actually people who give a shit about those issues.
Yeah.
And instead of appealing to the people who give a shit about those issues, you're appealing to the people who are actively, like, you know, scared of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw a tweet that was like, it was a stupid decision to like try to gain Republican voters, because why would Republicans vote for Republican light when they can just vote Republican?
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Like she and the Democratic Party in general just assumed that people on the left would vote for her bar none, because she wasn't Trump. And she didn't have to earn our vote. We would just give it to her because. And that ultimately is what damned her campaign.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I will also specifically say, and this is kind of the theme that I have seen, at least in the last 2 decades, give or take. Whenever the Democrats have specifically done things in the primaries to kind of like screw over popular candidates who are more left-leaning, it always screws them in the general election. Like, you know, say what you will about Biden, he won those primaries fair and square for the most part. Obama specifically, like Hillary Clinton was supposed to be handed that primary, and Obama came in and they were just like, he has too much popular support, we have to make him the nominee. Having Biden drop out so late and then having Kamala just be the nominee without having any democratic process to vote her in, and having voters actually say, yes, we want Kamala, screwed them. And the same thing happened when Hillary went up against Bernie, and the DNC actively went against Bernie to make sure he couldn't get the nomination, despite the fact that he had the support to
They were so afraid of having an even slightly socialist candidate that they doomed their own campaign and gave us Trump for the first term.
And it was just one of those things where, how many times do we have to tell you, centrist and conservative people are never going to vote for Hillary Clinton?
Yeah.
No.
Ever.
No.
Even center-left people hated her.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like no way you were going to convince that group of people to go. And like, she was not left enough to get the far left progressive vote either.
Absolutely. We know too much now, I think, is the thing. Because I feel like older Democrats, my parents talk to me about this all the time. They're like, well, no, we have to go a little more center because you're going to lose the older vote. I was like, fuck the older vote. Like, they're going to do whatever the fuck they do.
They're all going to be dead soon anyway.
110%. They're not going to see the repercussions of what they're doing anyways. Like, we need to appeal to like people our age and younger, because we are so fucking educated now and we know that there is something better for us. Bernie's been here the whole fucking time. We've been wanting him or someone like him the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
And like I know Obama was definitely more centrist than like some people want to look for their rose-tinted glasses with, but he had the popular support and he had the younger generational support that really is what put him over the edge. When you alienate younger voters, you're not going to win.
Obama, by the standard of what the Democratic Party is today, Obama is like a socialist. Like
in comparison, but he's still very centered.
And he was very centered.
Like, I think the last like truly progressive candidate would have probably been Carter. Even that's a stretch.
I fucking love Carter. All presidents are bastards. All presidents are war criminals. But Carter's great. I love Carter. He built homes for people. He sold his peanut farm.
I like Teddy Roosevelt, but he was also definitely a war criminal.
Oh, and Nepo baby.
Oh, yeah.
Also, fuck Joe Biden for not doing shit in his last couple months.
Yeah.
Except being a useless fucking garbage human being. Fuck Joe Biden. I regret voting for him. So just let that be the official stance of the show.
I know that the Supreme Court just gave me the ability to sensibly be a king, and I could just like fix a bunch of shit before I leave. But no, due process.
Also, Netanyahu's not that bad, guys. Stop being so mean to him.
Come on.
I don't know if you've seen the clip from The Daily Show, but Jon Stewart talked about that explicit thing where it's just like Democrats keep doing the thing where they keep trying to play by the rules.
Yeah.
Nobody else does.
Yeah, and expecting
exactly.
expecting the right to continue to play by the rules. It's like, no, if they're not going to play by the rules, neither should you. The rules don't matter anymore.
Yep, they haven't. Look at us in a political show.
Like I said, I'm committing now to basically.
There's no way we couldn't.
I'm already unemployed. I'm just
More than
like the election went the way it had. Like literally, I was literally like, how am I in 2020 again? Where like I'm sitting in my house with COVID during an election night, with the highest level of anxiety in my life, and just being like, how am I back here again?
Oh no, that's even more painful. Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
How is this a thing? Like that's basically the moment I knew where I was just like, this is not gonna go.
Oh no.
This is not gonna be a good day. It's when I basically tested positive for COVID, felt like shit. I was just like, yeah, no. This is the omen.
Everything is awful.
I will say something that's kind of, well, not interesting. I meant to bring this up earlier, but so I work in a pretty conservative area, and there's a huge uptick in white people, my patients coming up to me and just saying kind of vaguely racist things, just out of the blue. The top thing that they're bringing up is immigration, and here's the thing. Normally I would hate this, but I'm loving it and using it as a teaching moment because they keep bringing it up. They're just like, yeah, I mean, it's not that hard to immigrate. Like, I don't know why people are blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that is so funny you say that because I'm currently trying to immigrate to Canada. And let me tell you all of the things I need to do. And they're like, whoa, you have to do all that? I was like, yeah, it's the same thing here. Yeah. It's actually extremely fucking hard to do it the right way. That's why people can't do it because it's a lot of fucking money. It's a lot of fucking time. And most people cannot do that. So I'm like, if nothing else, I'm able to tell people like, hey, actually, and look, me, a white, it's hard for me too. So it's just like,
I'm still trying to figure out how they convinced anybody that closing the border is going to solve anybody's problem. I'm still just like, I grew up on a border
because
state.
There has to be an other, right?
Yes.
I grew
when
up
you were raised
in a border
in a white
state.
supremacist environment. Sorry, let me just finish this out real quick.
Go ahead.
When you're raised in a white supremacist environment, you are always needing to blame the issues on the other. Mm-hmm. And at a certain point, when just blaming them doesn't get you results, you have to do something about them. And that is getting rid of them, putting them in camps, doing whatever, because you've got to distract people from the fact that the ruling class is the actual issue. So we have to put them in cages. We have to put them away. And it starts right now with the Hispanic population, but it will move to other people of color and to other marginalized groups.
There will always be an other. And it's one of those things where it's just like, it's why, again, like the right focuses so much on culture war based things. It's always about othering people and not actually addressing any actual fucking issues that affect actual fucking people.
That's why a lot of immigrants vote Republican. That's all there is to it because they're not the problem. It's other immigrants that are causing all the problem. That's why they're having such hardship. So it's they've done that since the fucking dawn of time. Yeah.
Anyways, just so everybody knows, the policy of this is a political show no longer applies. I'm
policy that I never abided by the way. You guys have always just kind of let me go.
Congratulations, you finally broke us down.
I won! I win!
Feels terrible.
cool. Now that you've
I feel great.
Hey, now
But it might be the beer I've been drinking this whole episode.
Yeah. You might have beaten us on this, but now we have to beat fascism. So let's go.
Okay, fine.
You're up, boys.
All right. I gotta be honest. Like I'm gonna be starting a new YouTube channel soon because TikTok's going away, and I have to have some place to create, right? But I feel really bad because I've been seeing so many people on my For You page be like, I know you might think as a white guy it's time for you to like create your own podcast, especially if you're a liberal. Maybe don't, and maybe, and I'm but I need somewhere.
I know you get Christian Divine on TikTok every now and again.
Yeah,
I get his
Christian.
stuff too. He did the thing where he was just like, white liberal dudes, it might be time for you guys to start grabbing microphones. And then he did a video like following up. It's like, I realized I might have just told a bunch of people who are potentially groomers to pick up microphones. Forget what I said. And like,
I don't like that me saying I was making a YouTube channel made you think of groomers. Don't appreciate that.
I'm just saying there is a very bad precedent of certain people on certain platforms suddenly, again, we talked about this on the show where it's just kind of like, close your DMs. Just close
absolutely.
your DMs.
Keep them closed.
No DMs.
No, as a fan of pop punk, I get it. Right. I've been in pop punk bands. I get that I am closely associated. I don't like it. It comes with the territory. It's like being a Stephen King fan. Sometimes you got to read about kids having sex. I don't like it, but I got to get to
we all have to
clown.
remember that scene in It exists.
Yep.
I did forget, but thank you for reminding me.
If we have to suffer, you have to suffer.
I just watched I can't remember his name, but the Dom, I think is it, the guy who does like Lost in Adaptation, I think is the name of the series.
Oh yeah.
He just did it, and that's why it was on my mind because he was like, I really don't want to talk about this, but I have to. And
More than fair, yeah.
It's one day Stephen King's going to die, and I just hope that his estate goes. It's just like, you know what? Go ahead on this next printing. Just leave that out.
Just fully rip it out.
Just let the hard cut happen all of a sudden, and just have it be there.
That is the thing though about reading male authors is that like Game of Thrones, there are times when I'm reading and I'm just like, all right. Okay. And it's the same with Stephen King. Every once in a while you're halfway through a book and you're just like, oh, all right, okay.
There was another TikTok series that Emily sent me all the time, and it was like a woman reading, smutty novels that were written by men and describing sexual acts. And like just like
female gaze.
but like just like her reading like what those men wrote, and I go just like, I'm a white man and I know that's not how sex works.
Please read via the female gaze. Like I'm reading that Court of Thorn and Roses, and let me tell you, that book is very horny. It's gotten more and more horny. The sex scenes are great. I understand why the girls love the smutty books because, again, written by a woman, we know what we're talking about. It's just a better time. 10 out of 10.
It's like, guys, we have porn. It's free on the internet. It's super unrealistic. Don't make expectations off of it, but like if that's what you're into, trust me, you can go watch it somewhere.
But hey, if porn is getting a bit much, there are amazing fanfic writers on Reddit, specifically women fanfic writers, and I agree.
Emily is big on the fanfic train right now.
Yeah, I've read smut written by a man.
No, it's true.
I've read smut written by a man. I've read smut written by a woman. It's always better when it's written by a woman.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
The descriptions.
Oh my god. So creative.
Yes.
A man is so uninspired. It's just
that's the thing. I feel like women know exactly what they want, and they describe it exactly how. Whereas men are just like, so anyways, I did the thing.
So anyway, boobs.
So I groped your tit and then I came on you.
You're welcome.
I don't know.
This is how I sexed, by the way. That's why it's all in first person.
I don't know. My latest porn journey has basically
This is
just
my favorite
been
episode.
dirty indie games on Steam. So like that's like where my porn journey is going all of a sudden. So.
Oh,
that's
that's a
fun.
great place. Yeah, I love
They've
that.
gotten a lot better. They're not just like
Have
newground
they?
weird like titty clickers anymore. They like actually have like
Huh.
mechanics now.
Wow.
That.
That's
There's
so
one
excited
that's
for you.
literal. There's one that's literally a Star Fox clone. It is just like an aircraft like rail shooter, and then just like in between missions, you could just like hit up your crew and you'd be like, "Hey, you want to bang?" And then
I love that.
I'm
I
just
love
like,
that so much.
you know, I'm just like,
I used to have an app on my phone that was called Kawaii Assistant, and it was an anime girl that was your assistant, and you would just like over the course of it, you would like earn like credits that you could spend on outfits for her, and the gradual goal was to get her naked, and you would like get to see this anime girl naked. That was a fun game I had.
I was about
for
to
a
say, what
while.
was like the microtransaction gotcha? You know, it's like when did like the paywall like really become like if you want boobs, you're gonna have to pay the $9.99 for enough gems.
This was a decade ago. This was like 2015. But if I remember right, you could like take her on virtual dates, which you would just pay like $5 for, and then her like emotional relationship bar would move up a little bit, and it would be like, you went on a date, and then like you would just keep talking.
I love that so much.
Yeah, I'm
And
a
I can't relate.
pervert. Have we talked about that? Have we,
Literally no judgment, because if you on Steam,
we've
my
all-
top game
We've
is
all
Crush
talked about the
Buzz.
different like smuts and different mediums that we like engage with. We're
Correct.
all here's the thing. Everybody
I
in this-
opened this episode talking about an AI that I fucked over the past couple weeks. Like,
It's all fun and games until we get like the skinned Elon Musk bots.
yep. Oh,
Then we're
God.
screwed.
Oh,
Literally.
I already got a $500 sex doll in my closet. That's realistic and silicone. You press a button and the vagina warms up. It's wild.
Now you just have to explain anybody who you ever have over that it's not a dead body you have stuffed in the closet.
Yeah. No, I want them to think that. I want people to run. It's funny to me.
When was the last time you had physical touch again?
5 years. We're coming up on 5 years.
oh no.
Oof.
Fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
What topic are we on? What are we talking about?
the only thing we have on the dock is the Dogma is out of rights hell. So
Oh, yeah.
Weinstein needed more money for his legal fees, and so he ended up selling off the rights to Dogma to some holding company, and the holding company reached out to Kevin Smith and be like, hey, we got this in like a buy from, you know, the original rights holders that were basically doing nothing with it and basically refusing to give you the rights back. Do you want to do anything with it? And so the wheels are currently turning. They're talking about putting the movie on tour, which I will absolutely go see it in theaters.
That would make a really good Alamo Drafthouse tour. Kevin Smith.
I
taking it
agree. I
around.
think that would be really, really good. And then he's talking about how he is quote unquote writing Dogma 2, but he's made it very clear that writing to him means like the gears are turning in my head, but nothing's on paper right now. But the gears are turning. And like in fairness, in the last like decade or so, Kevin Smith saying that he's working on a thing you need to take with however many grains of salt.
True.
But I love Kevin Smith for the most part. You know, obviously his catalog is all over the place, but for the most part, especially a lot of his early work has been very formative in my life. I think he's been a pretty great
U and
influence in
M
the industry.
specific. Sorry.
Yeah, we watched Chasing
you
Amy
and-
while we got hit high off of edibles. in
Yeah,
your
I was
apartment.
gonna say the majority of Kevin Smith movies I've watched have been because you and M were staying at my house and made me watch them, and like, they are good. I enjoy Kevin Smith, even his more like serious work. I remember liking Red State.
Red State was good.
I haven't seen his Walrus movie,
That
but
one
I know
seems
people
to-
really like it.
Yeah, that seems to be like the one where it's just like if you're a hardcore Kevin Smith fan, you tend to love it, but if like you're like kind of you have to be in the right headspace for it, is what I've heard. I haven't seen that one.
No, okay.
But Dogma's definitely one I recommend anybody watch if you can get your hands on it.
I know it's one of his like seminal works. Like people adore that film.
Yeah, but yeah, it's been we've talked about like streaming right hell and like not being able to find things online and everything else because of the situation with Kevin Smith and the Weinsteins and everything else. Like this thing hasn't been on streaming services. The only place you can find it is if you find a Blu-ray copy, and it's like an older Blu-ray that like they're starting to like have their kind of digital decay over time that happens with Blu-rays and DVDs. So yeah, the fact that it's
and they're just hard to find because people are holding on to them.
Yeah, exactly. People are holding on to them. If you do find one for sale, it's like scalped to high hell. So I'm excited for it to be more accessible. The possibility of a Dogma 2 is like, but you know, even Kevin Smith acknowledges it's just like, yeah, I'll probably ruin it, but it's like, I'm just happy I have the rights to it again.
Yeah, getting to the rights thing in a second. We're gonna pop the quarter on that. I'm getting sick of Kevin Smith just making sequels. I would really like him to do more original stuff because he was getting very experimental in the early 2010s, and I was enjoying that. And to just see him fall back into making Clerks 2, making Clerks 3, making Clerks 4, making Dogma 2, I don't like that. However, the rights of the movie being available, I really like that because we are starting to get to a point where movies are disappearing due to rights. And we're not able to, we rely so heavily on streaming, but there is so much of it that hasn't made that jump and can't because of rights and whatever. Yeah. And so this is a win. This is a win, even if you don't like Kevin Smith.
And I don't, so
I am not surprised by this information whatsoever.
This is a full circle moment though, because I believe the only reason I watched Clerks was for Movie Club, and I was like, wow, this is dumb and a waste of time. And I was just going through it.
I remember you got a lot of hate in the comment section for that one. I remember that. I remember that comment section.
Yeah,
that was before my time. Ooh,
oh yeah, no, I remember that one.
I
remember that Movie Club specifically, and I remember Brie getting so much shit for that. It kind of made me glad that like Bowman back in the day gave us all nicknames because it meant that like there was a level
our nicknames
of like
got hit.
We had some anonymity.
There's a level of this is back in video reaction era, so like they could find her stuff and everything, but like most people never put in that kind of effort who were like willing to like be that shitty. Granted, there will always be shitty people.
No, not in the LTA community. For the most part,
there was
LTA
never a shitty person in the LTA.
No,
compared to other internet communities.
We're
mostly okay.
Remember, before Movie Club, Toby Turner had a series on that channel.
Ooh, I don't remember that.
That's very early LTA for sure.
That was early LTA.
I gotta be real honest with you guys. I only started watching LTA when I made videos for it. I didn't watch before then. I came to the channel.
I was the same boat as you.
Oh, see, I actually watched it. I was actually interested in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, I watched. Cool at the time. I will say that we didn't know as much as we did.
I didn't know. Like, I discovered Philip DeFranco around when Movie Club was starting.
Mm.
And then
I had been watching,
and that's when like I had like gotten into it. And I think at that point the LTA channel wasn't doing anything, and so it was the reason they kind of moved it over to there. So like I didn't pay attention to anything on LTA.
I had been watching Phil for probably like 5 or 6 months before he did the original incarnation of Movie Club on his channel. Yeah, and then he moved it to LTA. Mm-hmm. But once he moved it to LTA, I didn't watch it again until I started making videos for it.
Yeah.
God, that was so fucking long ago. Because that was like, I think they were promoting Netflix, right? Is that why
people were?
That's when they were promoting Netflix, and it's part of the
old.
This is back in the Scott Pilgrim era, like from the show, where it's basically like, oh, I deliver DVDs for Netflix.
Oh god,
that was a service Netflix had.
Oh my god!
Remember GameFly?
Oh
I
my
do.
God, Gamefly. Remember when that actor who played the CEO of Sony got in trouble because they got hired by Gamefly to play the new CEO of Gamefly, and it was
I
just the
remember.
exact same character that he played in the Sony
I remember
ads.
that. I think they also like got him to like promote an Xbox game on one of those commercials, and it caused, or it was something along those
Probably,
lines.
yeah. And it was a huge fiasco. He got fired, like blacklisted from Sony, and then there was a huge password leak and like data leak. And so they quickly hired him back and like paraded him out at E3 to apologize for the data leak for them. It was so funny.
I remember that, and that is the most Sony thing Sony has ever done.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh, don't you love? We're talking about gaming drama that happened almost 15 years ago. Isn't that
And it
great?
feels like it was yesterday.
Right?
It feels like another fucking lifetime, actually.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, that was me? I did that shit.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
I know. I went back and I watched. The mood hit me, so I went back and I watched some of the vlogs I did during the LTA time a couple weeks ago. It's rough shit, man. And like,
yeah,
but also just kind of remembering that, like, oh yeah, that's what it was like. Fuck. All right.
Yeah, it was a very different era. It's weird how like internet and social media has kind of killed that format, because now with like stories and doom scrolling on TikTok and Reels and everything else, it's just like, yeah, like no one vlogs anymore, quote unquote, or at least that's not what they call it.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's definitely not what they call it. I disagree that it doesn't happen anymore. I think that social media has moved to a point where simply existing on social media is vlogging, right? You are posting your life every day, and everyone is doing it.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to exploit the parasocial aspect of that.
Yep.
So yeah, I would agree with that. Oh man.
Wow.
Social media, deep.
That's social media snaps.
Yeah. All right, so what is everybody replacing TikTok with next month?
Social commentary.
Oh my God. I actually did download Lemon 8. I haven't done anything with it. I haven't created the profile.
I
don't know what that is.
No. It's
I know everybody is leaving Twitter for Blue Sky. That's the only one I've been
I'm enjoying Blue Sky. Blue Sky's nice.
Oh, how are you? I'm thinking about getting Blue Sky.
It's Lemon.
I think it's gonna go the same way as Threads, where it's just like, oh, this reminds you of like old Twitter when it wasn't like so like kind of crazy, and then it just went downhill.
Yeah. Certainly.
But like I hope so. So like I'm considering the Blue Sky thing.
Yeah.
All right. Lemon 8, as far as I can tell, it's kind of like TikTok combining TikTok, Instagram, and Pinterest into an app. I haven't messed with it at all. I downloaded it. It immediately made the account because TikTok's like, hey, if you get banned, we'll cross all your shit over. We'll just send it all the way over to Lemon 8, and it's really easy. But yeah, I honestly don't know where I'm going to go when this thing gets banned. Like I said, I'm planning on making a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's hard because like the majority of people I talk to within TikTok. Like TikTok isn't just social media; it's my messaging app, and so I'm gonna have to adjust there.
Yeah, as far as like, I think in terms of the aspect of like, as much shit as we can give it, the algorithm on TikTok, I feel like at least has the best balance I've seen of like actually showing me content I want to see, and like just giving me enough shit to upset me to like kind of, it's like, all right, that's enough internet for today. But again, it's nice to be able to send both you guys and Megan and some like other people just kind of like random things to just kind of like, hey, like this thing made me think of you for like whatever reason. I can send all my dark jokes to Seth. I can send Brie cute Bulbasaur and kitten content all the time.
Brie, did I send you that Bulbasaur that was smoking?
I don't think so.
You sent it to me.
Oh, okay. There's an account on TikTok that every day is uploading a still image of one of the Pokemon smoking cigarettes. and holding what like pack they're smoking.
Yeah, like
And they started with Bulbasaur, started with 1, and they're going through all of them in like numerological order. Don't judge
Numerical?
me. I have numerical. I'm a dab and a beer deep right now.
I was about to say, and that was like a big beer too. So that was like,
yeah. Oh no, it's just the glass that makes it look. No, it was a tall boy.
I was about to say that looks like a doll boy.
8.1% alcohol by volume.
Are you IPAing right now?
I'm still reserving whatever the fuck that is.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, wow.
Might as well have just gotten the plastic bottle 40, bud.
It was $1.50 at the grocery store.
I know it was.
You're doing a dab. First off, like, here's everything you did wrong. First off, you did a dab and you don't have a blunt. And then you took Steel Reserve and you poured it into a glass.
Yep. I'm a fancy bitch. Leave me alone. I'm wearing the suit coat.
That was just like, how do I take something very urban and make it suburban white?
Yep. Hey.
I feel like this qualifies as cultural appropriation.
Gentrification is a deep part of my heritage as a white man, and I will do it. Okay?
Especially in Denver.
Yes.
No fucking kidding.
You guys practically invented it.
Oh,
we
wow.
did. And we are damn good at it. So, the election's been hitting me pretty hard. And
Seth, you are a treasure. That's all I want to say. You are a treasure.
Thank you. It's so nice to be appreciated.
I told you guys before the show that we were going in with unhinged energy, and we did not disappoint.
Not at all.
The end times, giddy up.
It's been a few weeks. We ended up not recording our usual week, and I needed this, all right?
Oh my god. Amazing.
All right. Well, is there anything else we want to talk about? Because we went off the rails on this episode. Half of our conversation isn't even on the topic talk.
No. And we did hit everything, right? We did.
Yeah, we did. Everything's on the topic.
Okay.
Covered.
Yeah.
Shit. No, I can't think of anything.
All right.
I got nothing.
All right. Well, I guess it's okay.
I like my suitcase. There's that audio going around TikTok.
I haven't heard that one yet.
I haven't heard.
You haven't heard? You guys haven't heard I like my suitcase? It's Barron Trump. It's a clip of Barron Trump when he's like 3 years old, 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And he's only ever been around Melania, so he's got this like thick accent, right? But it's him going up and picking up a little briefcase and like getting ready for school. And it's him like saying to the camera, I like my suitcase. And he picks it up and he's like, I have to go to school now. It's the cutest fucking audio from somebody who's probably going to end up being a terrible fucking person. But it's a cute audio.
I don't know. I like the theory of that, like, Barron Trump has like been at all the like Antifa protests and like everything. Like anytime you see like a guy in like ski mask or anything else, like ready to throw a Molotov cocktail, it's like, oh, it's Barron Trump. I was just like, that'd be so good.
I would.
That's the world I want to live in.
That would be. I would approve of that.
Yeah.
Anyways, regardless, that's pretty much all we have left for the show. So all that's left to do is assign our next homework, and so I want to apologize in advance because Brie, you already brought this up. The new season of Arcane's out.
Oh, okay.
That's fine.
I have another option that I have, but it's just as unhinged and upsetting. So
what is it?
I want to, and because it's been kind of on my For You
the
page.
Diary of Anne Frank. We have to read it.
No. I want to rewatch Bo Burnham's Inside.
Oh, I've never seen Inside.
Have you
Outside of clips on YouTube. No. I've seen it in the way that like it's
everybody
all
on the
been put
internet
on TikTok.
But you haven't seen it in the context of the actual special.
No.
Okay, Brie, what about you? Have you?
So I'd be open to either.
I'm only gonna lean towards the Bo Burnham one just because Arcane is still coming out, so I don't think
it would be
Oh,
completely out
it?
by our
Okay.
next episode because I think
okay.
the second they released it in thirds, so they released 3 episodes.
Oh, okay.
So they just released the basically Act 2 third this week, and then next week they released the last of it.
Okay, so my thought is that maybe we will do the Bo Burnham one just because I watched it kind of once. I don't remember anything about it. My partner was really into it, but that was when we were first dating, so I only like watched it because like he asked me to. So, but I think I would like to watch it like for myself to like actually see it. So that's what I'm leaning towards.
Hey.
And maybe I'll pick Arcane next time.
Maybe this is an off-air conversation. What are your partner's pronouns? Because I've just realized that I used he, him, and
Yeah.
It is he, him, yes.
I've made that
okay.
mistake too, and I know
Alright,
that you typically
cool.
refer to him as your partner, and so like I try to say partner every time, but I realize I've
Yeah.
said
Oh no, I
I've
really
said
appreciate you
he,
asking, but yeah, no, he, him. So and honestly,
Okay,
I just
cool,
used
cool.
a partner because
And
we're both
he-
bisexual. So
Yeah, he also
that's
follows
fair.
me on
That's totally
Instagram,
fair.
and I think I saw that he had he him pronouns, so that's why I was just like, oh, okay, cool, we're good.
yeah, no, I do appreciate you asking, but yeah, he, him. So
Cool. All right.
woo. All right. So Bo Burnham, is that the
So
one?
Bo Burnham? Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, all right. Well, we're doing inside then.
Whoop, whoop.
Inside. That's not how you spell side.
But see, I might need more grieving time before Arcane. So
That's
that's
fair.
fair.
And like I don't know, like I do want to check in with Meg to see if because she was on our episode that we did the
Oh,
first one.
yeah.
So I wanted
Oh
to check.
yeah.
I wanted to
That's a
check in with
great
Meg and
idea.
see if she would be available. So even if we have like a little extra time between then and now, I think that's good. It's just because it's so fresh too. But
Yeah. No, it a good what is it? Search engine optimization, was that SEO?
yeah,
It'll work well for that.
yeah, you're not allowed to say work terms while I'm unemployed.
Oh, I'm not? Okay,
That's the
sorry.
one.
Official stance of the show.
Yeah. Wide shot. Lower third. Close up.
Anyways, I am TCK Media Productions on most platforms. Expect to be seeing more content from me soon. You got that Seth23, who you could typically find on TikTok while it's still a platform, or Lime 8
For
is
now.
what you called that thing? I don't know.
Lime 8.
Okay.
Just saying it gave me cancer. Don't follow me there.
And then, of course,
And
you have...
don't joke about illnesses, by the way. I'm sorry. That was wrong with me. I should not have joked about a very serious illness. I apologize. Why are you looking at me like that? Why are you both so quiet right now? Somebody talk over me.
Okay, well, that's normally my job. Anyways, we also have the Raccoonaloon herself, Brie, who you can also find on Game Birds, the podcast that she does about indie games with her friend Alice. It's very good. You could go check it out. And that's really all we have for this episode, and I'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
nice.